We're going to answer two questions today that came from a user. And this is a question that comes up quite a bit. One, can you nest skills in AI? And number two, how do you build and think about skills in a way that optimizes token performance, especially when nesting and calling skills? If you're new to the channel, my name is Fru. I make videos around leveraging AI to be ready for your life. Not AI for business, not AI for startups, not AI for enterprises, AI for you, your health, your wealth, your taxes, and all the domains in your life that are relevant, bringing AI to them. So that said, let's go into the tutorial. Quite a bit, we talk about having skills and then having skills that calls on skills. So you can have a wealth skill that calls a tax skill, that calls a health skill, and it's totally possible to name that. So here is a demo that I have to illustrate this for us. Two skills. One is a lookup skill and one is a report skill. And I'll talk through what these skills do. So can a skill call another skill? Let's see. So if I have my report skill in here, this report skill is to generate the financial report, a financial snapshot. What it does is it reads the folder. It looks at the vault for your accounts, for your wealth, and then it calls this demo lookup skill, which is a completely different skill, to compute the portfolio health. So absolutely, you can have one skill that calls another skill that potentially calls another skill, and so on. So you can absolutely nest that in. If you get the vault, if you get the Spark, what you will get is actually a series of skills to get you started. And you will realize that in some of the skills, you would have a wealth skill that calls sub skills. And the way we have it structured is operational skills that calls workflow skills, that calls task skills, that calls specific application that are still skills. So yes, skills can definitely call skills. But there is an implication to all of this that you definitely want to pay attention to if token concerns are a priority. And I think token management should be a priority for everybody, which is what is the impact on that on tokens? Let me explain with this tutorial. I'll explain with a simple example here. For this example, I'll go to Claude and I'll do verbose just to help us with the way Claude prints things out. Now, the very first skill I have is this demo report skill. So this skill reads this registry and then it calls this other skill. What happens, and this is where it gets interesting, what happens when you run a skill that, if I count this, it has about 1,000, about 1,100 of tokens roughly here. Now, that goes into your context. If you call another skill, this subsequent skill here being called the lookup skill, this has about 1,000 tokens, and it could be way more. If your skills are verbose, you can have way more. So now, from this parent skill, you have not just this skill with the tokens coming into that definition of your parent skill, but then the results and the computation and all of the things that happen in here comes into your parent skill. And very quickly, you can find yourself running out of context window by doing this, especially if you're nesting skills with any level of depth. So that would be a problem. That would be a problem real quick. So the way you solve that is for your parent skills, the one where the invocation starts, and I'll zoom in here shortly. I'll zoom in here. For your parent skill, in the front matter of the skill, this very front definition, because this is a parent skill, it's just clear as such. Okay. Now, if I go down into the sub skill being call the sub skill as such, there is the name, the type, and in my case, I just call it a task. This line here called context fork is extremely, extremely important. This line right here, context fork, is extremely important. I'll explain what this does. So if I delete this particular line, and let's say we took that line out, here is what happens. When we run this skill, it has all of its tokens, and we pass this subsequent skill. All the tokens for this will pass, and that grows pretty fast. Let me go in here and we will do demo, report. Let's see, we are here at the report level. Okay, so if I go ahead and invoke the report, see what happens. So the report should run now. Because the report runs, it reads about 1,109 lines of text, and it is telling us here 21,000 tokens, 23,000 tokens, and growing, and as such. So it's reading all the vault. There's quite a bit in the vault. So those are all being read. And that. Okay. So what is happening is when we call this, we have these lines coming through. And all of this is tokens. Well, when it invokes this, it says calls this demo lookup skill, which is the next skill. All of this skill, the context, all of the tokens here gets passed into this particular thread. Like think about the main thread. It gets passed into this. So this thread now balloons to this and whatever the computation results from this was. So it really could balloon up and fill your context really fast. So the way you would solve that, and I think mine is not behaving the way, I just ran this a couple of times, so it caches 23,000 tokens. The way you would solve that is make sure, even if skills can call on skills, to go into your, I'll use the term sub skills here, and invoke this context fork. Context fork is extremely important. You can even ask, I'll ask Claude here shortly what this means. It's extremely important. Now, when you have this turned on, what it means is this thread, and I'll go back and I've saved this, I'll go here, I'll run this one more time, demo report, is the demo report will run, and when it comes times to invoke this particular demo lookup, which is a separate skill, that gets invoked in its own session, an independent session with its own context window. Now, that session will obviously take the tokens here, read the file, do its processing, and everything within this subsession that has been created, compute the result, and then only the results from this is passed back into my parent skill for it to work. This keeps it pretty clean. And if you see, just imagine a scenario. You call one skill and you call another skill and you call another skill. This skill could be your main orchestrator skill. And that's what I tend to have in some of the setups we do. If you get the vault and the links, one skill calls another skill calls. Let's take, for example, tax prep. Tax prep could call download documents, prepare files, compute deductions, and all of that in one orchestrator skill. And that balloons up pretty fast. And the way you will solve that is making sure that every sub skill, I think there's really no reason why not to have context fork. So just add this command, context fork. It will force when this skill is invoked to be invoked in its own session, its own thread. That gets processed, and then only the results, only the tokens that are the results, and that will be probably minimal at that point, gets back into your parent skill, and that keeps your context window pretty minimal. So hopefully this helps. I think my results here might not be as clear because obviously let's do context. Let's see. So if you take a look at this, the context a window, you have insurance, where is demo 52 tokens, not too big, and then demo lookup 46 tokens. So not too big, but still pretty sizable when you add them up. Let's say you have wealth calling the ESPP, analytics calling your enrollment. All of that will add up pretty fast. And the way you solve that is making sure that every sub skill you have in your workflow has, so this is my main skill, has this context fork parameter turned on. So now let me close by saying, what is, I'll ask this to Claude, what is and what does it do? So we'll see what Claude says. And while Claude is coming back, I'll go into demos in here to Omega real quick. And what we will see is, because we have skills where the operation skills in this particular setup, if you get it from the website, let's take wealth as an example. Wealth would have annual rebalance. This is a big skill. And this skill will call other sub-skills. So if I edit this particular skill, wealth rebalance, I would see that this skill, because it's the main entry point, I don't need to put context fork in here because this skill, of course, is the main point. But when you do the wealth rebalance, well, what does it do? It calls this flow skill called portfolio, wealth rebalance portfolio, and it calls this other skill called reconcile accounts. It calls this other skill called allocation. Now, what I need to do, and I did not check before this video, is go in and make sure all of these sub skills, because they're all called within this particular context, that they are fork processes. Without that, this token will add, the context window adds up pretty fast. Now, let's go in, let's just double check for rebalance portfolio. And I know that that is a flow skill, and that is under wealth, rebalance portfolio. My guess is that I did not put it in here yet, but I'll get it done before this gets updated for the public. So voila, see, doesn't. Now, without it, I can tell you that this skill, without this context fork, because I did not have it in here, it will not fork this process, and all of these tokens and all the results from here will be passed back into my main thread. That is a problem. And even this one still triggers the, it's triggered by that. It produces that result. And this one still triggers other skills like Fidelity app, right? And now you're taking the tokens. Well, it actually does calculate allocations. So not only do you have 1, 2, 3, 4 skills, all your context window will pass into this. That passes back into the annual rebalance. Oh no, that would be a big problem. You solve for that with the context fork. So here it says context fork is how Claude runs child skills in isolation from the parent. So in my case, I have a demo report calling demo lookup. The child skill executes in a fork context, separate and or independent conversation branch. This means, and very important, the child gets its own context, separate. It reads the skill instructions fresh, does its work, produces the result. The parent does not see the child's internal work, and it doesn't have to deal with that all of that context. Only the final results are sent back to the parent. Intermediate calls, file reads, reasoning inside the child stays forked and don't consume tokens in the parent window. That's why this is very important. The parent continues just as the summary. You don't see this in, you can see this in action with what we just, which is what I just talked about. So context fork, if you're building skills, is extremely important. I'll make sure that all the skills that are part of the Omega package, the AI Ready You package, are forked at the relevant levels. Flows definitely want to be forked. Tasks definitely, apps definitely, because they all get called for the most part by the ops which orchestrate things. There might be some cases where workflows are called independently. But I don't think there's any impact if you call it with the fork process turned on. So thought I'll make this video. It's a little bit longer, more of an advanced concept, but context fork is definitely one of those things you want to pay attention to as you build skills that orchestrate and call other skills, because that's really the future. Skills is really what folks should be learning these days. I think agent gets to be too overrated. Skills is where the value is, and hopefully this gives you some good ideas. As always, if you haven't checked it out, support the channel, get your package in here, share this with somebody that might get value out of it. This is Fro. I'll see you in the next demo.